I lost everything. I was facing homelessness for the first time in my life. All I could lay claim to was my phone, charger, and headphones. That's all I had in my life and what I was wearing.
Well, first of all, everyone, welcome back in to Sunday School. Today, I have a very special guest. Former MGL, host of Faith in the Everyday Show podcast.
Yes.
And the first time we met was at a wedding where I dropped some Yoruba on him, which I'm not going to do on camera now because I'm getting a bit camera shy. John Ighalo's in the building.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Thank you for doing that. I know we started. I love the casual start. I don't know about you. There's a bit of inside knowledge. Yeah. The casual start to a podcast recording always makes it feel a little bit, a bit easier.
Absolutely, man. Same thing. Because like I said, I have a podcast myself, and I just have a chat. I call it conversations, not interviews, because interviews sounds very formal and whatnot. It's just like have a chat. So thank you for having me here, man. No, I had you on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and appreciate it coming through.
Awesome. And it was awesome.
Yeah, just looking forward to our conversation.
I love the new space that you got there. It's really cool.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We bond on many things. We follow the same football.
Don't talk about that.
No.
It's not going well for us. Yeah, but that's all right. It's all right. Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. Your cousin played for distant. I don't want to make it like they're not like that. Shout out to John Ighalo.
Shout out absolutely. I remember when he signed to the team, and I got like people like just text to me like, "Yo, is that your brother? Is that your like? Should I say yes or should I like?" He's like, "Nah, it's a distant cousin." But shout out to him, man.
So cool.
Shout out to him.
So cool. I think the first thing I did this with Lawrence, who was on a few weeks ago. I could give you your flowers first of all. I think the big reason Sunday School started was because of people like yourself and Lawrence were like doing all this content creation. I think spreading the gospel and giving other people platform to talk about their faith in a really that kind of empowering way. So first of all, great work. Keep it up, and it's an inspiration for people like me just to be able to keep doing it.
And when I see people like you as well, I get inspired as well to keep going. And especially just how you share and how you're just vulnerable, breaking up in the Word of God every Sunday. I think just keeps me going.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right, enough exchanging of compliments. Today, bro, I had a lot of questions. We got in touch maybe a few years ago while maybe you were still here.
Yes.
And then you disappeared, and I was like, this brother ghosted me.
I remember that.
It's all right. It's cool. It's calm.
I'm so sorry.
No. And I would just love, I guess, to cover today, a little bit about your story, how you came to faith, and then the pursuit of religious life, and then suddenly now to parenthood. Another beautiful vocation in itself that we share in common, and something else that we bonded over. So I'm gonna let you take it away. And give you the space to kind of like take me from start, not necessarily to finish, but maybe where it started for you.
Absolutely, man. So I'm Nigerian, born and raised there. And Nigeria is a very religious country. A lot of we identify with our faith in a much more, I guess, concrete way. And so parents are Catholic. Both mom and dad are Catholic. Was born in a Catholic home. Went to church. Went to mass multiple times a week. Altar served. And my mom was like head of many things in the church. She was head of the women's league and the lay readers, and she did a lot of stuff. And so I saw her lead at mass. I saw her, just be this person people looked up to. And I was like, I want to be like that. And she too. I was like, I want to be able to step into places where I can inspire other people, because my mom inspires other people. And so the idea of religious life or the priesthood was born. And I would just dress up in like my mother's robes and get like biscuits and juice or whatever and like say mass, celebrate mass in our homes. Beautiful. And my mom and dad were they all sit down there and pretend they're at mass, and I would do that regularly as a kid. So I loved I guess that imagery of me mass and whatnot, and born from seeing my mom serve. That continued for until high school. And my mom was very she was very involved in education. So she was principal of my school. And she said, she thought I was smart enough to skip grades. So I went from year 5 to year 7.
Yeah.
And so I finished high school when I was very young. I was like 15 when I finished high school.
Wow.
So I couldn't 15, I couldn't drive. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't drink. I couldn't go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Have a license, nothing. And my dad thought I was too young to go to university, to study and everything. So I'm like, well, I'm here, I'm young. How about I just see what I can do to further my vocation, my discernment where I am. So I joined the Salesians of Don Bosco in my parish. I was like 16 years old, went through training of how to, again, be a youth minister, how to lead, how to give talks, how to give dramas and whatnot.
Yeah.
And that sort of made me then have to leave my home. So I moved out of my house, went to the seminary with the Salesians and loved it. It was beautiful, man. Just having to learn to read about our faith and theology was just fantastic, and read about Don Bosco's life. I read his biography, and I would say really just inspired me to do what I do now as a youth minister. Seeing someone just give his life for the youth, I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
So while I was there, an MGL came from here to the seminary to look for vocation for the MGLs.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
so this is in Nigeria? Sorry?
This is Nigeria still.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
Nigeria
so an
still.
MGL pulls up at the Salesians.
Literally in Nigeria.
So like scouting
vocation.
mission, just being like, come on.
Yes. And I was in charge of guests at the time. So hey, where are you from? What do you do? It's like, oh, I'm from the MGL. That's what we do. He had his brown and white on. I was like, oh, this is cool. Showed me all the things that the MGLs do, and I was like, this is great, this is cool. I was, still young then. I was like, yeah. So he was like, do you want to come discern with us as well? I was like, why not? Travel the world, and yes, sign me up. So called Father Ken and was like, sure, made it happen. And from there, I was catapulted into the wider world in Asia. So I went to the Philippines to continue my studies, my formation in the MGLs. So my first year there, and
let me pause you there real quick.
Yes.
So you're with the Salesians when that interaction happens. What is that conversation like? Because you're a young man at this point. You're still young. You talked about that. You've become really involved in that Salesian life.
Absolutely.
What is that like for you to then meet an MGL? And then that conversation to then leave again at a young age?
Wow, that's a great question. It was tough, man.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, absolutely. that great question. It was tough. I remember being in the chapel in the Salesians, just crying, being like, what do I do? Should I go? Should I stay? You're right. I already, have been formed been formed in the Salesian spirituality.
Yes.
One thing I did say to myself though is the MGLs are also very, very big on youth ministry as well. And that's something that cuts across the Salesians and the MGLs. So I'm not necessarily missing out in a way. I am carrying, and I said this to Father Ken, I'm carrying Don Bosco's spirit wherever I go, whether it's the MGLs, married, whatever it is that I do, a spirit of just service for the young, to the young, with the young. I'm carrying that. So I had to get there, I think.
Yes.
And then that made me go, all right, it's okay for me to go, to leave.
And before you take me to Asia with you now, shout out to the homeland. In the same way, the question is kind of similar. At 15, you're at home, your parents are like, you're done with high school, you can't go to uni.
No, too young.
So then was it an encouragement then to go and explore vocation from your parents? Or was it you going, look, I have time to kill?
Both. Yeah, both. I was like, I've got time to kill. I mean, I was into gaming. I still game. I love playing video games, FIFA and 2K.
Let's go.
So I was playing all day, or even PES, pro. I was playing pro too.
Well, PES is I think people don't understand, if you're gamers, PES back in the day rivaled FIFA until... Until maybe last 2019
or 15,
I reckon
when
PES dropped off. We're digressing here, but you got get to know.
Absolutely. PES then was on par. So I was into that, and then at the same time I was like, okay, there's something more to this than than this controller. There's something more to life than my screen. And I say this, and I say this to my, whenever I'm at schools or giving talks, like, there's something more to video games.
Yeah.
And so my parents would also say, you need to like check out. And so I would get like, magazines or like stuff of different religious orders, like, of the Salesians, of the Franciscans, of the just Jesuits, and I would speak to their priests, and so just really just exploring and discovering and discerning which place, I'm being called to go and serve. At the same time, just chilling as well at home. And so, it was that both, I think my parents and I were sort of driving that search. What's next? Telling my mom that I'm leaving Nigeria to Asia would have been tough. Man, it was,
Take me through that.
Bruv, at the airport, because, black and white, my whole shirt was like filled with like tears and mom's lipsticks and everything. I had to hold myself. I was like 19, 18, I don't even know.
Well, you lived a life at that point, 19. Most kids don't even experience what you're doing. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm just there, and it was a crazy rule at the time where parents or visitors couldn't cross some sort of line in the airport.
Yeah.
So I had to literally just, even now I get a bit emotional thinking about that moment, because for her it's like, I've raised this boy, now it's time to, let him go. Let him fly, let him go. But at the same time, it's just like a mother's love it's a mother's love. So it was tough for me, man. I had to hold myself.
Yeah.
I think I cried on the plane, I think, as opposed to in that moment. So dad is like, all right, mate, let's go live your life, go, father kind of rah, kind of like, speech. And brother was there too. And again, I was still young, I was still like exploring. It didn't hit me yet what was really, really happening. Until years later, I was like, oh, okay. So, but man, I jumped on a plane, traveled away to the Philippines, and my whole world just changed. It was like, okay, I'd spent 18, 19 years, back in Nigeria, but I'd grown up in that world. That was my world, And so when I came to Asia, it was like, there's a whole new world outside that place, and the MGLs are amazing. It's like second day, they're like, all right, let's expose you to what we actually do here. Now, Nigeria is a third world country. We have our struggles, our issues. By God's grace, I was sort of sheltered from those sort of issues. My parents, God bless them. They were able to give me what I needed, and what I wanted. But I was not oblivious to the fact that there was stuff happening around. There's poverty, there's economic, struggles. But when I came to the Philippines, because our mission is with the poor, I was like, oh. And so I was taken to the slums of the Philippines. I was taken to places where people live under $1 a day. And I was like, oh, my eyes just opened. I'm like, okay. I knew poverty existed, but I didn't really see it until I came here. And I was like, okay, let's do this, And I spent about a year and almost 2 years there, I think, in the Philippines. And it was, I could talk about the Philippines for ages. Like, it was one of the most incredible, life-changing events, man, of my life.
In what way?
In every way, I think. Number one, the whole idea of love, it was crystallized, where love knows no bound, like, it's not bound by language. So, when I first came, I didn't speak Filipino. I kind of can understand a little bit now. But when I first came there, I couldn't understand in a Filipino, Tagalog. And so I couldn't communicate English. I couldn't really talk, converse with people. And I had to find ways I could, and I realized presence and alone sometimes is enough. Wow, you've traveled all the way from wherever you've come from to be with me, to stay with me. I may not talk to you, but you were here with me. And that's enough for me. I'm like, I'm here for you. I'm here with you. Whatever you need, And that that was made known for me in a deeper way. Like, and then after a while I started like, playing music for them. They love Hillsong there, like, where it was.
Filipinos can sing.
Oh my
Filipinos
days.
can sing.
I feel like
sing.
every Filipino can sing.
That's facts.
Like, absolutely. Oh man. So I would just bring my piano, my keyboard, in the slum area, and just play, and kids would just gather around and sing. And that was again me showing them that I love you. I may not talk to you, but they knew I loved them, and they could feel the love, and I could feel their love for me as well. Acts of kindness and acts of service, building homes, building chapels. We would travel to like remote areas, remote islands of the country, Mindoro. Like we would take like the ferry there, and we'll ask the villagers, what do you need? I'll ask them like, what do you need? What do you want? We want a chapel, or we want this or that, and we'll build it with a roof. I remember one time I was on the roof of this chapel we're building for this village. It was like 40, like not even kidding, 40 degrees, and the sun was bouncing on the roof to our faces.
That Southeast Asian sun hits different.
Bro, it was like, wow. But then the beautiful thing about that moment was on the floor, like on the ground, you would hear the kids playing, like, playing with a basketball or soccer, whatever it is, and laughing, and that was what we were hearing. And that just like, gave us, like, reminded me of why I'm doing what I'm doing. Things like that. And then, we had, moments where we got to also experience the beautiful, vibrant part of the country as well, traveling to much more city-like, places as well, and just amazed, by the culture, by the food, and it was amazing that when I got my visa to come to Canberra to continue my studies with the MGLs, when they announced it, kids that I'd never spoken to before would come and hug me and in tears, and I'll be like, I didn't speak to you once, but then I'm like, oh wait, yes, I spoke to you, but not verbally. You know what I mean? I spoke to you heart to heart, music and all that stuff, presence. And I was like, oh wow, and it got me emotional as well, and but it really, I think, just opened my eyes to a whole new world of like, the whole idea of mission, of presence, of love, of service, just I think was really just crystallized in the Philippines. I can't wait to go back. I think it's been about maybe like 6 years since I've returned, or since I came here. But I'd love to go back to the Philippines, man.
What was and so I'm just trying to keep track of timeline here for me. 19, you left Nigeria.
18 or 19.
And then, so then Philippines, you were there for a year?
A year, I think a year and a half, maybe? I think a year and a half.
Yeah, so you were like 20, 21 at that point.
I was probably 20.
Yeah, and then so then like 20, uprooted again.
Yeah.
2 questions. The constant upheaval must be a real challenge for a young man too. Like I think, me and you now, like I feel like we're similar. I'm not sure how. We don't have to give away trade secrets. Skincare routine is on point. It must be difficult. I think of myself as a 20-year-old boy, and I was a boy. 20 years old by law you're a man, but really by nature you're a boy.
Yeah, mentally you're a boy.
To then be uprooted from your family, put in a different culture. And for me, I've always thought that African culture and Asian culture is kind of has similarities. Like I think in the communal nature of it. But a culture shock nonetheless. And then a year later to be told, hey man, like you're up and at 'em again. What is that like for a 20-year-old boy?
Yeah, man. I didn't realize any of what you were saying until I had a chat with my counselor back in the day, and it was like, you've lived a nomadic life. And it's like, ooh. For me, I had to grow up very quickly. I had to grow up very quickly. I had to learn very quickly. And for me, it wasn't. It was all adventurous for me. It wasn't like I think it wasn't like I have to learn again. Now, I think when I came to Canberra though, you're right, because Asia, Africa, close. When I came to Australia, that was when I received the biggest culture shock ever. I was like, whoa. And I think that was when I was like, okay, I felt the move for the first time. Really.
Wow.
I mean, I did feel homesick in the Philippines, as you do. missed the food, the jollof rice, and loved the adobo and loved the Filipino food. Missed the fufu, man.
I'm educated. I'm telling you,
this guy's cultured, man. But that's part of it. That's part of like I say, you grow up quickly because you can miss that, but you've got ministry, you've got work to do. Yeah. And so you just grow up, you call your parents, just keep in touch, stay connected. But so it wasn't hard to move from Nigeria to Philippines because it was again similar, adventurous, let's just do this. Same thing to here, but after like a couple months here, I was like, ooh, okay. The cold was crazy, man. Oh my days. Imagine going from like summer in the Philippines, hot and everything, 40 degrees, bang. It was actually just 15 degrees at the time I came here, but it was, man, and it's Canberra cold as well. Like it was, oof.
If there's anywhere to form religious people in Australia, it's Canberra.
Canberra
is the place. Yeah.
Man,
other cities too fun, too sunny. You put them in Canberra, Melbourne, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it was. I got a bit of a. Is it called mood depression? I think it's called. Like your mood changes and you sort of hit a bit of a low point in your life. And the MGOs are great because they expect that. So they've got tools for you to help you and to enculturate you and bring you to families. And so I got to meet the DOJ families and in Canberra, and just to this day I still keep in touch with them. Like they're
wonderful.
Being part of my journey. Pre and post MGLs, everything. So that also helped as well to help me just adapt and be enculturated in this place. But it was really, really tough, man. Especially with weather and like
and does the lifestyle change when you come to Canberra? Because it sounds like Philippines, heavy mission. You're hands-on with the people. You're with the people.
Living with the people.
Canberra's probably more study. And it sounds like you killed it in school, but like now you spent a few years kind of like discerning, forming, hands-on. And I know now that I know you a little bit, like your energy and your personality comes from being with people, comes from that evangelization that's happening on the ground. That must have been the biggest hit for you, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And I think again we were also told by our formator, it was like, I know, because most of us started because so in the MGLs it's like there's 2 years of formation before you come to Melbourne. So there's the pre-novitiate and the novitiate. The pre-novitiate is much more like welcome to the MGLs, have fun, it's what you can do. The novitiate is much more structured, more formation, trying to prepare you for the vows. So that's when I came into the novitiate. So you're right. So from the Philippines into that was again a bit of a shock, where there was more focus on your interior life, more focus on your interior journey, faith journey, trying to remove those blocks before you build, your house on it, trying to, just trying to get you to look deeper, and reading books from saints that that help navigating that, and studying about the MGOs and the vows and the constitution and and the catechism of the church, all that stuff. So I enjoyed it still. I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed learning. I enjoyed understanding, and I think doing it with my brothers as well. Shout out to the 2017 year in Canberra. They're all priests now, so which is amazing.
Wonderful.
So it was good. It was really good. At the same time, shocking. But I'm a very optimistic person. I think I've got a lot of a rose-colored lens kind of view of things. I'll look at something and be like, oh, it was hard, but it was good at the same time.
So then you're in Canberra.
So now I'm in Canberra.
What was that period of your life like?
It was, I think, about 2 years in Canberra. Different, very different. A time to sort of settle down a bit more and not stop doing, because I still did ministry. I would still go to schools and like parishes, play music here and there, go on mission, 1 week, 2 week missions with the brothers. But it was very focused it was very focused on more of interior journey, interior life, trying to make sure that you're ready to make your vows at the end of the year. And then go to Melbourne and continue studies in theology. So it was tough because I also got to like ask those questions I never really asked myself, like, get to tap into traumas or wounds or things that I hadn't really, tapped into or really talked about with anybody, just to make sure that, again, those things don't come and bite you, later on. So a lot of like counseling, a lot of one-on-one pastoral care, and like, being vulnerable with your brothers and sharing how you're going and your struggles, and everyone gets to almost have this sort of camaraderie because we are all in this together. I'm not alone in this struggle. Like, I'm not alone in this particular thing that I'm going through, and we all helped each other. We all, held hands and worked together as brothers, and so it was really good, man. It was really good. There were challenges. There were things where I had to trek alone as well, whether it's father wounds or whether it was like trying to not associate the way I related with my dad with God, because that's something that can happen.
Yes, I've seen it. Yes,
yeah, and where you see God as this fierce, as this person you have to please, you have to perform for him to then bless you, and so it's, a lot of breaking that down had to happen, and that continued even to Melbourne when I was here, trying to really understand the true nature of God's love for us. MGL is Missionaries of God's love, and so spending time in Canberra to understand what God's love meant for me was, I think, very, very fruitful.
Would you say that because you described the first few years of your early kind of like discernment as adventurous, felt adventurous.
Yeah.
It sounds like the tone shifted when you came to Australia.
Yeah, it was now, okay, but it was like if you want to do that adventurous thing long term, you need to spend this 1 year to just remove those baggages, those stones to keep you going, because you can do that, but then you burn out, or you keep doing that and then you realize, okay, why am I doing this? And there's nothing to fall back on, or you adventures and then somehow there is some sort of thing, then faith is questioned, then you're not sure, then you're out. You know what I mean? Like those sort of things can happen.
Yeah.
So like you can run fast, but then after a while you get tired and you stop, or you can pace yourself and you can go much, much longer.
Yeah,
pace yourself. Pray and ask the Lord to reveal things that will potentially hinder you from doing ministry in the future, and then pray to those places. And so, the tone definitely shifted. From adventure to like to introspection, for God to come in and then help so that you can continue on your adventure for as long as you can. If that makes sense.
I want to touch on what you talked about, like the father wound, just briefly. We don't have to dive in too crazily. The way that you describe making sure that your relationship with God is not the relationship that you have with your father, and people have good relationships, poor relationships, non-existent relationships.
Yeah, man.
For you, what was the turning point that helped you detach the two? Because I'm thinking about people that I know, and a couple of people could spring to mind where they just can't. The fatherly, paternal language of our faith is too close to home for them in regards to then being able to dissociate that from their earthly parent.
Yeah, man. I feel that.
Yeah.
Feel that. It definitely, I could not do it alone. That's one thing I would say. You can't do it alone. You can't come to a theological realization by yourself. You need help. We need people around us. And so it was, man, shout out to Father Tony Sheik, man. Like continuous, regular pastoral care meeting for like years, like maybe 5 years or 4 years maybe. Post MGLs, for me to then break it down, because like I said, like I'm African, You know, the idea of father is like you are there, you please your father. He has a final say. If you make him angry, you're in trouble.
Yeah, we've seen enough skits to know.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and I absolutely brought that into my spiritual life. Like, I have to please that man. In fact, that man made my father. It made me. So he is higher than my dad. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have to please him. I have to perform for him, so I can get blessings, so I can, be in line. And it took me I wrestled with it. You know how like was it?
Yeah.
Is in the Bible, like I think Jacob. I think
wrestles with God.
With God. Like you have to wrestle with that concept and be like, no, God is not your dad. Your dad is not God at the same time. And Father Tony, really helped me to break that down.
Really powerful,
A turning point. I would say it was probably turning points. I would say it was, and it was grace. It was grace, man. It was, I didn't do it. I can't do it. You can't do it.
Sure.
It was grace of God to just gently, break those walls down and begin to see God as love. God is love. And it was about understanding that, there is nothing that I can do that can separate his love from me. Like, I don't have to perform. And see, you hear this all the time. You hear it, God loves for who you are, but it doesn't really sip in until you really engage and wrestle and be like, I will continue to, sometimes like, especially if you've had hurts as well. I'm getting a bit deeper now.
No, please
everywhere.
Do, yeah.
But like, because my dad and I did not necessarily have the best relationship, growing up. We're much better now. Again, you bring that to to God. And at some point I was angry at him. Don't know why I was angry at him. I wasn't sure I was angry at him.
Angry at your dad
God.
or at God?
Both.
Got it.
Both.
Yeah,
both. And Father Tony said to me, like, God, what would you just say? He can take it. God can take it. Your anger, your frustrations, whatever it is, it can take it. Because what was happening is I was angry at my dad, at God, but I had to worship the God I was angry at. And so I'm like, I have to do this thing, but I'm angry at him, but I have to do it anyway. And so even that just continued to create this wall, between me and God. And so there was a lot of breaking down of stuff. Like, no, I love you. Of God saying to me, I love you, of me understanding that, again, God is not my dad. And I know that's such a duh, but honestly, it is not easy. It's not straightforward. Me going to mass regularly, going to adoration regularly, even if I'm like, just going anyway, showing up. And God just, I think the image I have in my mind was like, it was like a water going through like stone. It doesn't just go straight in the first time, but just continues dripping of water, and then it just softens a bit more and more and more. But I had to show up. I had to wrestle and show up. And so, I think it was probably, I don't know, maybe like 4 years ago, just before I met my wife, I think, or before we got engaged. I'm not sure now, but like the whole knowledge of God's love for what it is really just sunk in. I was like, I just have to show up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wherever I am in my life, or there is, whatever state I'm in, whatever I've done, whatever it is, I just have to show up, and He meets me, and I respond to that, with service, and that has been what has catapulted me into more ministry. And whatever I'm doing, it's like I'm not doing it because I'm performing, trying to please this God like I did back in the day, or trying to like make Him happy. It's like, no, I'm here because I'm responding to His love. I'm responding to the blessings, His goodness for me. Like how, there's a hymn back in Nigeria, like, how can I repay the Lord for His goodness to me? Now I know we're not repaying Him, but like, how do I respond to that? You know what I mean? And so that's been animating me ever since.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing. I mean, that's vulnerable stuff, right? I think it's so important for people to hear that. I think the two key takeaways from that for me, and I mean, we have so much to talk, there's so much more I want to ask, but I think the two key things that stick out to me is the first thing is the showing up thing is so important. An intelligent understanding of our faith is not necessarily reading every single book on the saints or understanding theology to the nth degree. It's like, it's going, my faith bridges the gap from what I know and what I don't. And then God takes me to that next place.
Absolutely.
And so your description of just constantly showing up thing is a beautiful testimony to that. I think that's so important for people to hear that no matter like, even on the best of days where you feel that, yes, the sacraments are like this efficacious living thing that like I'm one with God in those moments, to the days where you go, I don't even know if this is real. Like the act of showing up is living your faith out, because we are human and we, it changes and ebbs and flows, and complicated relationships impact that. So I think that's a big thing. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, man.
It's so important for people to hear that. And I think the second thing that sticks out to me is that, in your life, like God can break those things down, the things that you think are impossible, insurmountable. So I think that's beautiful, and a beautiful thing, an important thing for people to hear.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Show up. Just show up. I think that's great. That's great. That's really great advice. And
and it's something I bring to my marriage as well. Like you have good days, you have bad days.
For sure.
Gotta show up. Show up for your wife, for your kid. And just keep going. Because now I think we're reaching another turning point for you. And we haven't even touched the entirety of your religious life and the experiences, but like, I think, I really want to move now to kind of like where you are now in your journey, as a young Catholic man. You're part of this religious order. You've moved around a lot, upheaval, change, challenge. Talk to me then, when does it become clear to you that you move from adventurous to introspection to actually the vocation that I'm being called to is not this one? Yeah, man, I would say the very first time I had, again, like a wrestling of that was when I was actually doing that introspection part, in Canberra, moving to Melbourne. Like, is this for me? Again, I loved what the MGLs do. I love the ministry. I love the service part of our lives, as brothers. For the first time, I think when I went to mission with other young adults who are lay young adults from Canberra to remote places in South Australia for about 3 months, I saw these other lay people doing what I'm doing, going on mission, living the life of service, talking about God to high schoolers, to people. I'm like, but they're not brothers, they're not seminarians or anything. And that was the first time I was like, just like a bit of a staring. It was like, okay, bro, to God, and like, God was like, just keep going. Not now, not yet. Talking to my counselors, my directors, and they were like, okay, just keep praying about it. Let's just see what God is saying here. Anyway, I made vows, moved to Melbourne to study theology at CTC. Loved it. I always say to my friends, like, if you have time to give for studies, study theology, man. It breaks open our faith in us.
I just finished a short course in theology with the Augustine Institute. It changed my understanding of, so 100% agree with you. If you have the time, slowly is the way.
Absolutely, man. Just if you can, just jump in that. But so did that. I think that, again, wrestling came back after maybe like a year, or no, actually about 7 months into being in Melbourne here in the seminary. Again, I love what I was doing, the ministry, the service, the adventure, but I wasn't sure if I was called to do it here in the religious life, and any religious life at all, whether it's MGL, Salesians, or, and I think there was a stirring in my heart that was pointing me towards, like, I wasn't sure because if you want to be a priest, there are things that, you have to let go of. There are things that you have to sacrifice, if that's the word. Whether it's, understanding communal living, where we share everything. And if you want to travel somewhere, you got to book in, you got to check if the car is free. If you can't just move however you want to move.
Yeah.
And I feel like personally, there were some ministry opportunities that I wanted to do that I wasn't able to do. Understandably, and it's like rightfully so, because we're not called to just do what I want to do as an MGL, as a brother, And so those things are sort of like stirring me. And so I began a 1-year discernment process where I was talking to my pastoral carers and my counselors, trying to unravel what this is about. I love what I do. I love theology, but I'm not sure if this place is where I'm meant to do that. And ultimately, I discerned out. So I left the seminary, but I was still in MGL. I was still living with one of the families in the parish here. Again, just discerning whether this is if actually living in MGL was actually what I want to actually do.
Yeah.
And after about 6 months or a year, I felt, I think this is, it was a gradual process. It wasn't like a bam off.
Yeah.
It was like conversations with pastoral carers, with counselors, with directors, with brothers as well, and trying to discern what is God calling you, what is in your heart, And I think at the heart of it was I wanted to do ministry, I wanted to continue to serve, and I wanted to do it as a lay person, and I think that's what ultimately, and I love the MGLs. I'm still here. I still hang with the MGLs. I still play at the MGL parish. I'm around, but I think ultimately it was a call to lay missionary life that made me go, okay, I think it's not, again, I had to deal with people. I had to deal with a community of people helping me to discern and to figure out what's best for me. So
I think it's important for people to hear as well when such a big decision like that is made, to leave a religious vocation and then come back out into the world as a lay person, that it's a gradual discernment process. For you, if I want to frame this up in 2 ways. When you first had that initial stirring where you saw these other young people doing lay work but weren't religious, that stirring, was there a little bit of like bitterness maybe on how come no one told me that I could have that the same as them?
Wow, I actually didn't think of that like that. I think probably because, again, growing up where I grew up, ministry and all that stuff was sort of only for the priests and the seminarians and brothers. Those were the people who were holy enough to do ministry. So I guess when I started seeing lay people to do ministry, I was like, you can't do that. I think the DOJ actually really opened my eyes to non-priests can, non brothers, whatever, can actually give talks and go around and do things. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Maybe that may have stirred something inside of me as well. It's like you don't have to be a priest or brother to live out your vocation in ministry, to be a vessel of God's love for others. Yeah. It's a calling on everybody, anybody.
Yeah. And then when you were in Melbourne and you made that decision after, sounds like a period of intense kind of discernment, to leave religious life, did it feel similar to the other moments of upheaval in your life where you had to leave Nigeria, you had to leave the Philippines, you had to leave camp? Was it another moment of leaving, or was it were you stepping up into something new for yourself?
No, I think it was probably leaving again. It was leaving again. And I reckon this was the toughest one. Yeah, toughest one, because I was now, because before I was living and then going into an established space, being taken care of and being, now I was living into the world, and I was like, okay, I felt like I was reborn. I was like a newborn in the world, because I have to then begin to find work and find accommodation and find things, and I did. I was able to find work, accommodation. And then something crazy happened in 2020. The whole world was shut down, literally shut down. And jobs were lost, accommodations were lost, and I lost my job, my accommodation. And for the first time in my life, I was beginning to face homelessness. And I share this part of my story with high schoolers, or when I go to like, youth groups or conferences, and I share about this part of me. I haven't really shared this on a podcast publicly like this anywhere. But yeah, 2020 was an incredibly, I think saying the word difficult is actually an understatement for me. The hardest year of my life. I, like I said, lost everything. And I would sort of call my friends and be like, hey man, have you got a place for me to stay? Have you got a room? And they'll be like, listen, we would love to have you. But as you know, like COVID was very, like, the older, parents were more vulnerable to those. So they were like, but I can't have you because we don't know what you're carrying, like, because you've been around, you've been, and I was like, cool. And then, I would travel to Canberra. I would stay in some places for here and there for a bit. But after a while, COVID, really got much more vicious and scary. And I was like, okay, I have nowhere to go. I looked up flights to back to my parents' house, overseas, or grounded. It takes me about 4 airports to go back, and just shut down, planes grounded, nobody was traveling. And I was facing homelessness for the first time in my life. And I was like, oh wow, it's about to be real. And I was at Doncaster, I think, or so at this point, and I was at the bus station, literally lost, and also interiorly lost as well. I didn't know where I was, because again, I just spent maybe like a year in Melbourne, so I didn't really go around, or 2 in Melbourne, and I didn't know what bus to go to. I didn't know wherever, but I knew I had to go back to like this Warragul area, because that's why I knew and I was sort of familiar with. So I was like, hey, just find a 903 bus when you can, and even that was God doing, because I didn't know which bus to take. I didn't know which one was going either Altona. I don't know. Anyway, go on the bus, got to Warragul, went to Deakin. I knew Deakin University have like a 24-hour library, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna sneak in, and just hope that no one finds out I'm not a student here. And that was where I slept that day, and I was just like, okay. Next day, left, trying to find food somewhere because I didn't have money either. And then called my friends like, hey man, have you got anything? And one of my friends gave me his student card for RMIT. So I can like get into RMIT, go to the city and see where I can, if there's some food vans here and there, I can line up for, and I can just have a place to just stay while I'm in the city. So I gave him his card for RMIT University. He's Indian, and I just hoped that again, security would not
check the card.
Not check the card and be like, that name doesn't match that face. Like, just like, and literally that was a fear. I was just like hoping like no one's gonna check. But I was in there, man. I was in a library. I would library hop. I literally had no place to stay.
Yeah.
When the night came, I would go on the 75 tram all the way down Baywood Highway and just find a bench, man. I'll just look around. And this is where the whole idea of God walking with you in the depths of sorrow, or in the valley of the shadow of whatever, homelessness or death. That was where that knowledge of God's love being with you in all that you do really took root in my life, because it was actually kind of annoying, because I was meant to be like angry at him. I was meant to be like, give me a house. Why am I homeless? Why don't I have food? Why don't I have... And I know the whole world is shut down. I get it. But why am I here in Vermont South trying to find a bench or something,
Yeah.
But I wasn't angry. And if I was, that would have been fine. But I wasn't. I just felt this deep presence of God's love, of the Holy Spirit, just beneath. Just very gentle, just beneath all of that. Like, I'm with you, and it was just there. And I wasn't panicking. And it was annoying because I was like, I want to panic, I want to be angry, but I wasn't angry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was tough. It's very tough. I'm emotional thinking about it right now.
Of course.
But yeah, 7 days later, I called one of my friends. I was like, hey bro, again, just want to try again, man. Can I come? Can I be at your place? And it was like, listen, my parents just stepped out. They're away for about 2 days, but they'll be back. You've got like a day and a half. You want to stay with me? That's all you've got. Great. I can't spend one more day in the highways, in the streets, walking down. Cool. So all I could lay claim to was my phone, charger, and headphones. That's all I had in my life, and what I was wearing for a week. And so went to his house, was there, and then it was like, okay, a day has passed. I've got any plans because my parents are coming back tomorrow, just letting you know. And then another annoying thing, but again, of course, it's God. It was annoying, but I had this deep faith that I would never go back to the streets again. Don't know where it came from. Don't know why I wasn't panicking, but I was like, God's got me. I don't know. Why did I say that? I mean, obviously faith and that love that was just there underneath, just subtle. He was like, are you okay? I'm just letting you know. And then the day came where I was meant to go. And a friend of mine called me, was like, hey, I heard you're looking for a place. I've got a place just for a month because I'll be living in this place as well. I'm going to a new place, whatever. Come stay at mine if you. I was like, rent free. I was like, rent free. And then I was like, sure. And then boom, I went to his house. I was there for the month, and he was much more aggressive in terms of like, you need to find a job, you need to find something. He was like, even if it's something illegal, just do anything. You know what I mean? I was just like,
probably not illegal.
I was like, nah.
Yeah.
God's got me. Don't worry. You know, and he was, love him. He was like, bro, like, you need to do something. You need to, like, you know, I was like, nah, God's got me. He's like, sure, whatever. You've got a month here. And then the day kept passing. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 23, day 24. It was like, hey man, just letting you know, we've got about a couple of days here, and we need to leave this house. Have you got any place? I was like, nah, but God's got me. 2 days before I was meant to be evicted, meant to leave, got a call from another lady from the parish, St. Ben's, and she was like, hey, I heard you're looking for a place. People keep saying that. I heard. Who is telling them? I don't know who's telling these people because I'm not calling anybody. I've done all my calling. She was like, come stay at my place and work for me and be with me. And shout out to that lady, man. She saved my life. And she got me. She got me to come stay at her place. And I told my friend, I was like, see, I told you that God's got me. He was like, whatever. Like, you know, happy for you. Obviously happy for me. And just like that, man, I moved to a house, you know. I lived there, and she gave me a home. She gave me food, made me work for her. Sorry, I'm just like...
No, please.
Just like,
Take your time.
It's just... it was tough still, you know, not having, you know, again, like the world was shut down. There was no actual work happening, but I was able to have families who would say, come work for me, as in like, come mow the lawn, or, you know, come, you know, set up whatever, build stuff for me. I would earn like $20 or $40 a month at the start. And I could just budget that to like food, because I didn't have food. And from there, it got more. I started getting more jobs here and there, you know, back in people's houses, do whatever I need to do to get by, man. Build people's cabinets and clean the house or whatever it is. And I was grateful, very grateful. because I know that people, in that moment, I knew there were people in the world who would kill to be where I am. Yes, I was earning $40 a month. Yes, I was vacuuming people's rooms and whatnot to get by. But people in the world where I've come from would kill to be where I am or where I was. So I was grateful. I was grateful to work. And that went on, and the world started opening up again, started getting a bit more opened, work started sort of coming up, and schools are open again, and so I started doing stuff with with schools, ministries, and traveling and giving talks. And I remember when I was one of the nights where I was walking down Burwood Highway trying to find a place to stay, like 1 a.m. in the morning, 2 a.m. in the morning. I remember I had this voice say to me, one day, this story will be a testimony. I was on at that moment, I didn't even know when I'm going to sleep or get food the next day. But I had this voice say to me, one day, this story will be a testimony. And I was like, okay. And I sure, I'm trying to find the next bench I can find. But anyway, sure, if you say that. And so, 3 years later, I'm going to schools, I'm going to parishes, I'm going to conferences, seminars, and I'm sharing my story with people. And it is changing lives. And I'm like, oh, that's what you meant. That's what you meant. And I've been very careful, of course, to pastorally discern how deep I go with, where I'm at with, just to make sure that I'm not just,
Yep.
But when I've been able to share really freely and vulnerably, God, not me, God has worked in people's lives through that story. And they've come up to me and have shared their story with me, their struggles with me. And I always tell people this, I'm not sharing this for you to feel bad for me, but I'm sharing this because I want you to know that there is hope, that God is a God of hope. And even in your midst of the darkest, night, in the midst of deepest sorrow, that, when things don't make sense, when God's love doesn't make sense, that God is with you, and that one day you're going to come out of that and share your testimony and give witness to God's love and God's providence for you. And so I did that, man. I went to, traveled the country, and spoke and did ministry at the parish here in St. Benedict's Parish. And that's where I met my now wife, but girlfriend at the time, Stephanie, shout out. And she just changed my life forever. She just
Beautiful.
Discerned marriage with her and did the course for weeks and spoke to married couples, a parish priest, and ultimately got married, and we have a little baby now in our place, and that's why, again, I feel like I'm just talking and rambling on, but I am incredibly grateful for everything and anything, big or small. Sometimes I still look at what I'm wearing, look at my phone, and be like, is this mine?
Yeah.
His phone is mine. Or I step out the house, I look back and I'm like, that's mine. And it's a gift that I'm happy I have, because it just keeps me grounded. I'm able to walk, I'm able to drive a car, I'm able to talk, I'm able to be here, and I'm able to eat and drink water. Those things they're not given. They are blessings. They're privileges to be able to live. And in as much as I understand how extremely difficult that moment was in my life, I kind of see the flowers, the fruit of it now, in that I'm able to not take anything for granted. Anything. Being on the train, going on a train and seeing people wow, I can do this, I'm here, any little thing at all. I'm grateful, because of I guess what I've experienced. And so I usually end by saying this to kids and students. I'm like, you don't have to be homeless. You don't have to be on the streets for you to know that God loves you, for you to experience God's hope. You don't have to be in that space. A lot of us are spiritually homeless.
Yeah.
A lot of us are mentally homeless. A lot of us are emotionally homeless. We don't know where we belong in our heart. Like, we are restless.
Yeah.
You know, we can find God in that space. We can find God in that homelessness that we feel in our hearts, in that poverty of spirit in our hearts. You know, we don't have to, be down, and that's in the physical way that I was to experience God's love for you. So man, I don't want to keep going.
No,
keep rambling on. But
first, thank you so much for sharing that. I think that is, an incredible testimony to faith in itself, a living faith. Right? I feel that people that aren't Christian might have been in your position and just gone, what is happening to me? The world is doing this to me. And I think it's incredible, but a credit to the people that help form you in those moments to have that little rumbling of, but God got me. And I think what people don't understand by that, when people say God got me, it's not just sitting there and being like, God got me and not doing anything. Like, it sounds like you put yourself to work. Yeah. You know, you use the gifts that you were given and you're willing to do what it took. But moving in faith, I think, is incredibly important.
Absolutely, man.
I'm super conscious. I have so much to talk to you about. I have so many questions about that. But I think it's powerful to let that testimony sit and maybe one day come back again.
Oh man, anytime, man.
Dive into it. I want to talk to you about parenthood. We didn't get such a. I know that you got to go.
Part 2, man.
At midday, I would love a part 2. So if you would grace me with the part 2, I think we can pick that up.
Part 2, it'd be an honor.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you for just giving the space, man.
Of course, brother. It's been a real pleasure. There's 2 things I do with every guest.
Yeah.
First one is a gift.
Oh, I need to learn from this, man. I need to.
Where did he? It was literally up there.
Did Justin take it?
Right,
is it outside?
You can leave all this in, Emma. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
With every gift, or with every guest, there's a gift for being on the show.
No.
This is for you.
Oh my days! Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, you can open it now if you want. You can feel free to open it.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's for you. It's a St. Michael the Archangel, just like a pocket rosary from Rugged Rosaries.
Listen.
They have nothing to do with the show. I'm just a big fan of their rosaries, handmade in Texas.
I'll tell you a crazy story.
Yes, please.
Last night, my wife bought me a St. Michael the Archangel rosary, a big one. Probably the same place.
Yeah, great.
And I used it. I prayed with it yesterday.
Yeah.
And I put it under my pillow last night to sleep on.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure why I did that. Because I don't sleep with rosaries on my pillow. I just put you here. And then you giving me your St. Michael. Nah, that's wow.
So thank you so much for taking the time. But if you do come back for part 2, no more gifts.
Nah, man. I expect more. I'm joking.
And before we end the show, I always ask the patron saint of your interior life and the patron saint of your exterior life to close us out.
Yes, patron saint of my exterior life, my ministerial life, you would say, St. John Bosco, man. St. John Bosco inspired and inspires and will continue to inspire me in all that I do. A man who just gave his life completely for young people, St. John Bosco. Interior life, I'm leaning towards Saint Therese of Lisieux, I think. Yeah, because I've been just praying, to her and just trying to understand, her life more and the simplicity of how she approached God's love and her spirituality. I think something I want to have. It's not, I tell myself it's not actually hard. Just approach him as a child, I don't want to ramble on.
Please
but yesterday I was driving and I was like, I don't want to be, how we have adult relationship with our parents / when we're kids. I don't want to have an adult relationship with God where I'm like, I moved out of the house, I see you once in a while, call, but I'm an adult and I need. No, I want to be a child forever. You know what I mean? I want to depend on him forever. I want to be like, I can't do this, sorry, help me, And sometimes I find myself going to like, no, I can I can do it again. Performative, I think, maybe sort of comes in, but to continue to fall back into that. No, I don't want to move out of the house. I want to remain a child.
Yeah.
You know,
a little child shall lead them is what Jesus once said. So
yes,
beautiful way to end it.
Thank you.
Come back for part 2, please. I have so much more to ask and talk about. Let's do it, everyone.
Do it.
John Ighalo, Faith in the Everyday podcast. Go check it out.
Thank you, man.
Father, thank you for the time.
Thank you. See ya. Thank you.